if you run a non-profit organization or a not-for-profit organization, a cause, a charity, a for-purpose organization, you're in the right space. So thanks for making a little bit of time to watch this session. We've got a great opportunity for South African non-profits to take advantage of. So what I'm going to do is take about 10, 20 minutes and just tell you a little bit about the initiative and what we've got up to. So if you are running a non-profit, or if you know somebody who is, maybe your favorite charity or a cause that you support, do share this link as well with the right people. Basically, I'm going to share with you some ideas on how you can take your non-profit organization to an entirely new level. And on top of that, we're going to be announcing an exciting opportunity for one lucky non-profit organization is going to win a coaching program worth over 80,000 Rand. So very briefly, for those of you that haven't come across Action Coach before, quite proud to introduce the company. We're a global organization with offices in 82 countries around the world. And we're still a privately owned business. We run on a franchise basis. And much as we're in 82 countries now around the world, we've been in South Africa for 13 years now and growing strong. So we've got offices across the country and north of our borders in South Africa as well. Now we are starting to spread into the rest of the continent. So it's a business I'm very proud to be a part of. And what we do is we coach business owners, we coach business executives, business leaders, and we do a lot in the non-profit space as well. And I'll be telling you a little bit about that in a second. If I haven't met you before, my name is Trevor Clark. I'm a senior franchise partner with the franchise, with Action Coach. I've been in the game for 13 years, and this is what I do full time. I work in business and I help businesses achieve better results. And yeah, I love what I do. We have some great work and work with clients across the country and internationally as well, and helping people achieve their goals on a personal side as well as on the business goals. So what we're talking about today is Action Coach globally has got an initiative called Coaching for a Cause. Coaching for a Cause is run by the Action Coach Foundation. The Action Coach Foundation does a lot of fundraising and supports causes around the world. Another part of the Action Coach Foundation is we've got a program called the Young Entrepreneur Smart Start, which is a program which is free coaching for young entrepreneurs and budding entrepreneurs. So any young people wanting to get into business between the ages of 12 and 22, that's actually free coaching for youngsters in that space. Catch us separately if you'd like to know a bit about that. And the third arm, I guess you could say, of the Action Coach Foundation is an initiative called Coaching for a Cause. And that's where senior coaches give away a slot in their diary, a coaching program, and we sponsor a non-profit pro bono. Worked with a number of non-profits myself, and we've actually just opened up our next non-profit slot, and we're going to be giving away a 6-month intensive one-to-one coaching program for the right non-profits. We are taking applications now. If you are running a non-profit or you serve on the board of a non-profit and you think that your business will benefit and that we can help you create a far larger impact, then there's some details below this video, and you'll be able to click on the link and apply, and we'll be running a competition in the next couple of weeks. So get your applications in fast if you think that your nonprofit could benefit from this. And as I mentioned earlier, if there is a nonprofit you support, your favorite charity, your favorite cause, share this with them so they can apply fast. So what I want to do now, though, is show you what the coaching is about, because obviously you might think, yeah, coaching sounds good, but does it right for me? Will my operation benefit from it? What is the kind of stuff that we're going to be working on? And that's what I'd like to do now, is to share with you a bit of the process of how we build businesses generally, in particular, some of the stuff that we'll be taking you through to help you improve the results and create a far higher impact with the organization that you support. So as I mentioned, I'm a coach, I'm a business coach. Some of you might have worked with a coach before, you might not have. So business coaching, if you haven't worked with a coach, is just like sports coaching. We help people achieve a lot more. You know, with having somebody over your shoulder, checking in with you regularly, challenging you, pushing you harder, holding you accountable to your goals, importantly, educating you on different ways of doing things. Just like athletes with the right coaches can achieve so much more. It's exactly the same in business. Typically, we work in a lot of different areas with our clients, but the 3 primary areas that we coach around is generally time, team, and money. any challenge that you're facing is generally in one of those areas. So time management, we help a lot in that space, helping people with delegation skills, diary management, things like that to help them achieve more in their day. So that's time. Team is obviously getting teams working better together, leadership skills, management skills, getting systems in place to help give teams a framework that they can work against. And obviously teamwork is also around then holding teams accountable to running the systems that you put in place. So time and team, and obviously money is one of the key things that we work on with traditional for-profit businesses, is helping them get their profits up. And for non-profits or not for-profit businesses or operations, it's about higher levels of fundraising, whether through donation, through support, through funding partners and areas like that. So time, team, and money, if you've got a challenge in one of those spaces, you should be thinking about getting into this coaching program that I'll be showing you. So let's talk about your job, your operation. You know, we find people out there in business on one of these two continuums. Either this person on the top left, buried under the business and drowning and battling to keep up with it all. And other people, they get the business right, where you achieving your goals and still having free time and able to live a life and spend time with your family in areas like this. And this is what we find with businesses and entrepreneurship in general, is when people start business, they think it's going to be a lot easier than it is. And we start a business with these great dreams and goals and how we're going to make lots of money and create amazing impact, and we're going to have a better lifestyle and more time to play golf or hit the beach or whatever it might be. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years into business, we find the owners of the business, the head of the division, the branch manager, the person running the NPO is buried under paperwork and working 7-day weeks, 12-hour days, and not seeming to get it right. So this is what we're going to show you as a framework on how you can free yourself up. So not just achieve results, but do it without burning out. So, you know, and burnout is one of the big issues out there in business. And we find it too often. We find business owners, business leaders, managers of companies are trying to do it all themselves and burning out. Talking to the wrong people is a key one as well. Getting advice from the wrong people, not getting enough advice soon enough. You know, often what we find in coaching, we find often businesses reach out to us, but they reach out too late. So when already they're in too much trouble that it's sometimes too late to fix a business, or it's that much harder to fix. And as you know, prevention is better than cure. So are you talking to the right people? And that's where we are as coaches. We're independent and unbiased advisors to the business, give you a second perspective, a sounding board, and advice, education, and skills is a key thing as well, because a lot of people that are running businesses haven't got the business skills that we need to run a business. So I'll be talking about that a little bit. So typically, our definition of a successful business is a commercial, profitable enterprise that works, and importantly, it doesn't just work, it works without you. As we often ask people, especially in for-profit businesses, do you own a job or do you own a business? And owning a business means it's something that actually can work outside of you. So a couple of areas here. Commercial, we've got to have a real entity that's serving a need and creating a demand. Profitable, obviously, if you're a for-profit business, we want to make sure that you're profitable. If you're a non-profit or a not-for-profit business, we want to make sure there's a surplus, that you're bringing in more money than you are spending every month, because with a surplus, you can do some amazing things. An operation that works, that is systematized, and there's a consistent output regularly. And importantly, if it's properly systematized, working without you means we've hired the right people that can run the systems for you, meaning you don't have to be there 24/7. And you start empowering your teams to take over the business, which then frees up more of your time to do other things, to scale the operation, to actually have a life, to get out and spend some time with your family, to have some hobbies, to work on another cause, if that maybe is what you are interested in. So this is kind of the framework, and this is where people often knock on our door, so they need help in one of those spaces. We obviously do a lot of work as helping businesses get ready to sell. So sellable businesses that work. So how do you do that? So easier said than done. That's our definition of a successful business. So in our business with Action Coach, is we use a framework. We call it the 6 steps to a better business framework, and it's a model that has been developed over the last 30 years. We take businesses around the world through exactly these same steps, And basically, by having a step-by-step framework that you can take your business through, it gives you guidance, it gives you a framework that you can use to understand where we're going well, what's working well, and what are the areas that possibly need some attention. Where are there any cracks that have appeared, and what can we do about filling those cracks? So I'm going to take you through this. So basically, our coaching programs follow this framework. A typical coaching program is anything from 1 year to 2, 3, 4 years. I've got clients that I've worked with for 1 year, and that's all they needed. They just needed some new skills and to fix up a couple of areas in the business. There are other businesses that I've been coaching for over 10 years now, business owners that have now opened multiple businesses over the years, and we coach the subsidiaries and the managers of those different businesses, different divisions. So the framework, and you'll see in a second as I take you through it, this is the structure that's going to give you the clarity on how to build the business. And also when you're making improvements in your business, to do it in the right sequence. So I'm going to throw this all at you really quickly. Understand that I'm basically talking you through a 3-year coaching program. I'm going to try to do it in about 10, 15 minutes. So pull up a seat, grab yourself a cup of coffee, and I'll go as quick as possible. So understand I'm going to be flashing through it. Over time, we'll be coaching you through it. If you're the person that is winning the competition, we'll be working with you for at least 6 months through this process, step by step. But even if you hadn't won the program, we do for the people that don't win, to get it free. For other nonprofits, we do special rates and special deals and all sorts, because we love giving back to the community. So do reach out, even if you're not the successful winner of the promotion. Reach out and even just book a free session with me. And if I can help in a specific area, do shout, and the ladies in the office will book some time in my diary, and I look forward to meeting you separately. So let me take you through this framework, take some notes, and use it as an opportunity to reflect on your own business. Where am I doing? Where are we going well, strong, and where do we need some improvement? Okay, so the 6 steps to massive results, we like to call it. The first couple of the first area to focus on, we call mastery. It's like building a house. You start with the foundations. It's exactly the same in any business in your organization. We want to make sure the foundations are in place. So we call that mastery, and I'm going to drill down on that. So make sure you work from a stable base. The next step is you've got to make sure there's money coming through, the cash pumping through this operation, because cash feeds activity. Without cash, we are dead in the water. So it's about marketing, it's about sales, it's about retention, and I'll take you through that and a lot more. So once we are stable, once we get a lot better at our marketing and sales, now we want to start freeing up some time. So the next step of the coaching process is to look at systems. We use the word leverage, and double checking that we've got proper systems in place, improving the systems, and then obviously training up the team on the system. So that's the next step, is once you have systems in place, we can now get more out of our team, as well as we can grow the team. So we do a lot in the space of recruitment, helping our clients recruit better. And if you are hiring, please do speak to me. And it's a space I love coaching and helping people attract amazing teams. So we can help in that space, getting more out of the existing team, or growing the team. But you see how important the sequence is, because too often people go to team first before they have the systems. And you hire a person before we drafted a job description, before we've updated the organization chart, whatever it might be. Synergy is the next level that we get to in our coaching journey with our clients. And synergy is basically, we like to describe it as that point where your business is working like a well-oiled machine, where you, as the owner of the business, or the head of the division, or the head of the cause, you don't have to be there all the time. Your team are now empowered to run it for you. So very often synergy level is where you would hire maybe an ops manager, general manager, to run the day-to-day for you, to free you up to do more of the bigger picture stuff. And a results level business is a business that's totally working without you, that you actually never need to be there at all. So that's the framework. That's the process that we take our clients through over years. And behind each of these steps, there are tools, templates, there's programs we take you through, and we coach our clients through each of these levels to help them get better results and move up that process as we go. So I'll take you through each of them in a little bit more detail. So I mentioned mastery. That's that first area, working on the foundations of the business. So make sure that your business is working on a solid base. You want to make sure these 4 areas are covered. Destination mastery, goals in place and a plan. Money mastery, are we tracking the numbers properly? Financial reporting, cash flow management, whatever it might be. Time mastery is another key foundation area. We find too often there's business owners, business leaders out there that are operating from a state of chaos and just not getting everything done every day, and at the end of every day being frazzled. Oh my gosh, 8 hours have gone by and I can't even account for the day, and I'm not getting it done. So it's about diary management and delegation skills. And obviously delivery mastery is about, often it's about the marketing material, making sure our branding is right and look and feel, and making sure that all our social media channels and our business cards and brochures all give the right first impression. And delivery mastery is also about, are we able to scale? Are we ready to scale before we get into marketing and sales? So I'll drill down on each of these. Destination mastery, we've got to have the long-term goals, the big picture thinking on what do we want this business to look like. So, you can't, any of you that might have read that book by Stephen Covey called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, I still think it's one of the best business books out there. And Covey teaches, I think it's habit number 2 is begin with the end in mind. If you haven't got real clarity on where you want to go and where you want to take your operation, you're going to be running around in circles. So it's one of the first things we do with our clients, and it's what we'll be doing with you in the coaching program, is doing what we call an alignment consultation, where we spend a lot of time with you and help you just get real clarity, both on your personal goals as well as the business goals. Then getting into things like your company vision. We found a lot, especially in the nonprofit space, there's these amazing causes that were founded with this great vision, and then with the challenges of day-to-day life, day-to-day business, and the challenges that we've had over the last couple of years, from COVID to lootings to floods to you name it, it's all those other challenges just cause so much pressure on people that often the original vision gets lost. So it's a key thing in our coaching program is either to kind of revisit the vision and make sure all the stakeholders are reminded of it and the staff are reminded of it, and what's that impact that your organization makes. And if the vision isn't properly clarified and we haven't properly written it down and drafted a meaningful vision, then that's an area that I'll be helping you with. A meaningful vision that you communicate with your stakeholders. And for me, the test of a good vision statement or purpose statement or mission, people use different words, is does it enroll and inspire? In other words, if somebody's sitting at the office and they see the vision statement up on the wall, or they see it on your website, do they go, wow, I'd like to be a part of that? Are there it could be a team member, a potential employee that says, I'd like to help. It might be a volunteer that says, yeah, I like what you stand for. I want to volunteer my time. It could be a donor, a sponsor says, I'd like to give money to your cause. So enrolling a good, well-articulated vision will enroll, importantly. So that's an asset test. If it doesn't enroll, that means we need to do some work on it if it doesn't enroll people. But importantly, a good vision and mission needs to inspire. When we're having a bad day, when we're missing our targets, when the chips are down and team members are fighting at each other and what have you, a good vision and mission will get people's chins up, get people's chests out and say, yep, I'm going to have another try. I know we're having a tough time, but I'm at it. And it's because it's the bigger picture that we are focusing on. So we've got to get that clearly documented. And I want to make sure that you're going to be communicating it to all your stakeholders across all your material. You need to, as the leader of your organization, you need to be that mascot shouting it. Because if you're not shouting about the vision and the mission and the big picture, it's hardly likely that your team will be shouting about it as well. So we're going to spend a lot of time in that space, and it's going to help your fundraising and it's going to help your team commitment at a much higher level. So yeah, we need the vision, but importantly, we need goals. You'll know this mantra, SMART goals. Not just saying we'd like to raise more money. We want a specific fundraising target, our annual target, our quarterly targets, our monthly, our weekly targets, and the goals in all sorts of areas. So have we documented the goals? And not just goals now, do we have a plan in place that's going to help us achieve those goals? So that's going to be part of what I'll be taking you through. If there isn't a plan, I'll be helping you draft the plan. And if you do already have goals and plan in place and you'd like me to have a separate look at it, and that's my job, is also to look at the goals and plans and see if I can find any holes in them, or improvements in that stuff. So that's about destination mastery. We've got to be very clear on where we go. Money mastery, as I mentioned, that's another key area that we have to get right. This is often where entrepreneurs, business leaders, it's the money that keeps people up at night, causing health issues, causing relationship issues, all that kind of stuff. The stress of financial management can really cripple people. So it's one of the key things we want to get right early on. That's why we call it money mastery. It's about just getting proper financial systems in place, proper bookkeeping. Are we tracking the numbers? Can we account for every penny that comes in and out of the business? We'll help you get that in place if you don't yet. And then importantly, if you are tracking the money, then we'll be looking at it together and saying, what do these numbers tell us? Because as you know, businesses don't speak English, businesses speak numbers. So we're going to learn the language of numbers. And you can imagine the businesses we coach, we have clients that are highly financially literate, and we have other business people that we coach that don't know finance at all. And we do a lot in that space, helping upskill people with their level of financial literacy. So don't be, if you're not wild about numbers, don't be scared off. We're here to help you get on top of the numbers. The 3 areas obviously we'll be looking at: budgeting, like driving a car, you need the windscreen that you look through that tells you where you're going. That's exactly what our budgets will do. We'll help you put budgets together so you can see what's coming ahead. Similarly, when you're driving a car, you don't only look through the windscreen, you also look through the rearview mirror to see where we've been. And that's what your reporting is, your financial reports, last month's profit and loss account, last year's annual financial statement, last quarter's results. So we need to be looking forward, but also keeping an eye behind us to get that balance, to see how we're doing. And also what we'll be doing with you is help you develop a dashboard. Where at a glance, so just like when you're driving a car, you can at a glance see how we're doing, how fast are we going, how much petrol is in the tank, are there any warning lights, possibly should we be pulling over, fixing something and then getting back on the road. We'll help you build dashboards that at a glance, you can know exactly how your business is doing in some key areas of the operation. We'll be helping you reassess your break-even target in the business and being very clear in terms of the fundraising targets, what's the key cost of the business and what's the operating costs inside the business. All right. Break-even is something we're going to test with you regularly. So destination mastery, money mastery. The next one, time mastery, is a key one. So there we're going to help you make sure you're clear on the critical activities every day, and also making sure that your team are clear on what they need to do every day. So it's one of the things we find is people come to work in the day, 8 hours go by, and at the end of the day, it's like, what have I really achieved here? So by good diary management skills, you can do some amazing stuff. So one of the ways of thinking about it, as we call it the time target, is are you tracking your time? Are your team tracking your time and seeing where's your time going? And what we find is a lot of people spend time in this zone that we call the zone of distraction, doing things that are not urgent, not important. During working hours, surfing the internet, social media, gossiping, cleaning out last year's filing cabinet, filling time, but doing stuff in the zone of distraction. Other times, people are working in the zone of delusion, where they're doing urgent stuff, but it's not even important. And just about everything nowadays is urgent. A ringing phone call, a pinging, a WhatsApp pings, an SMS pings, an email makes a sound effect, a knock on the door is a sound effect. A ringing phone that grabs our attention, and only when we react to it do we find out, is it actually important? And too often we find that people are doing things that aren't at all important. And we've got to understand that there is always going to be time needed to do the important stuff when it's urgent. Then we suddenly always have found time to do that, right? And the zone of demand, when a fire breaks out, a key member of staff doesn't come to work, an important customer or donor comes to visit, you've got to drop what you're doing because it's important you take care of that, and it's urgent. So the important thing to understand is, if we know what our important activities are we putting time aside to do them before they become urgent? And that's what we're doing in our coaching program, is we help people block that time away. We call it working on your business. Are you putting time aside to put systems in place? Are you putting time aside to manage your team and do performance reviews, for instance? Are you putting time aside to do marketing campaigns? Putting time aside to put new systems in place, to do planning, to do goal setting, to do training of your team? All that sort of stuff is on the business. And if we know that's important, So we need to make sure that we do that stuff before it becomes urgent. And we'll be helping you through that and making sure you invest in your time in the right space. And the fourth area of mastery is what we call delivery mastery. Are your customers getting a consistent experience? Because consistency is just that hallmark of good businesses. The reason I have this barber's chair here is, it's Michael Gerber in his book, The E-Myth, gives this example. He has a regular haircut at a local barber shop. Every month he goes for his haircut, walks in the door, the lady behind the counter tells him a joke, makes him smile. When he sits down for his haircut, they give him a cup of coffee. And that's his regular barbershop for years. One day he walks in the door, there's a different lady sitting at the desk. He sees the regular lady doing stock take in the back room. And the lady at the front desk doesn't tell him a joke. He sits down for his haircut, nobody offers him a cup of coffee. But he gets exactly the same haircut. But you feel what happened there, right? They found the way he likes it, and then cruelly one day they took it away. It's the same haircut, but he didn't get those two little feel-good, we call them critical non-essentials. Next month he needed a haircut. What did he do? He tried a different barber shop. The barber did nothing wrong, but they didn't get that consistency in delivery. So we want to be clear around that. It's like, what are the little consistencies in your business that you need to make sure happen? McDonald's, I think, is an amazing example of this. They've found a certain way of delivering their food, and they can do it again and again and again around the world. So, wherever you are in the world, if you see those golden arches, you're going to get quick service food, clean environment, reasonably priced, and you do. So even if they don't have to be the best hamburger in the world, but they've come up with a model that works, and then they do it again and again and again and again. Rinse and repeat. So we've got to find out what are those consistencies in your business and in your operation, do it again and again. Because without that foundation, everything else is going to be so much harder. So all of that I've been talking about there is mastery. That's the first few months of any coaching program, or any business that we work with. We want to make sure, or help you make sure, that your foundations are right. Once you've got that right, we turn our attention to niche. Niche is about a profitable business or a non-profit business. If you're a non-profit, and I don't like that word non-profit, I prefer the word not-for-profit. Because non-profit makes us think, oh, well, we're not supposed to make a profit. Well, of course you're supposed to make a profit. You're not allowed to take a profit. But let's call it a surplus. We want to build a surplus. We want to be bringing in more money than we are using. That's a lovely place to be. So to do that, we've got to talk about niche and get some material right there. And this is an area where we get huge return on coaching investment. The clients that engage us, we push really hard here to make sure that people make a lot more money, because we like coaching to be free regardless. If we donate to a coaching program, awesome, which we do with a non-profit. With a for-profit business, we want to make sure that their return on investment, that the profits exceed what they're paying us as coaches really, really fast. So we're going to show you now how we do that. Okay. So what would you do with unlimited funding? I'm going to show you a model where you can just rethink your mix on how you do things inside the business. We use a concept that we call leverage, or the business chassis. If you know a lot of cars on the road, if you take away the badge, take away the bodywork, you'll find it's exactly the same chassis, different car on the outside. Audi, Volkswagen, Porsche is the perfect example of this. So what we like to do with businesses is teach them a model where you can look at your business chassis. And it's a chassis that applies to just about every business. And if you can understand these numbers, you'll understand how to improve your business a lot more. But the first thing you've got to be comfortable with is you need to test and measure. Numbers don't lie. When we talk about business, too often people bring emotions and we say we had a good month or a bad month. No, there's no such thing as a good month or a bad month. Businesses don't have feelings. We have a month that's on budget or not on budget. We want to see what the numbers tell us, because on the numbers is where we're going to really understand what is working in a business and what is not working in a business. So typically, if we're working with a not-for-profit, most of you, if I asked you, you could tell me how many donors you have or sponsors you have. You could tell me what your level of revenue or fundraising is. And you could probably tell me, do you finish every month, or last month, did you finish with a deficit or a surplus? Now, what I want to show you is those three things are outcomes. There are results. We want to change the results. We need to change other things to get different results. So this is what a chassis looks like, or what we call a business chassis. Leads, conversion rate. So leads times conversion rate gives us our donors, right? So here's just a fictitious organization I'm showing you here. Last month, they had 4,000 leads. In other words, 4,000 people were approached, asked to support. At the end of the month, 1,000 people had supported us or donated in whatever fashion. So we can take 1,000 by 4,000, divided by 4,000, times by 100. Now we know the conversion rate. Now you see it's two different statistics here. Leads tells us how good we are at marketing. Conversion rate tells us how good we are at converting or selling that idea, that principle. They're two very different skills, and different people need help in different spaces. Some of you might be great at marketing, but terrible at converting. Other people might be amazing at converting, but aren't good at getting the message out. So we want to look at these two areas and see where you need help. Then on top of that, we want to see, well, the average number, we call it the average number of transactions. How often do people donate? If you're a commercial business, how often do they buy, right? And this is a fictitious business. This is last month. Some people donated once, some donated 3 times. The average was 2. And you can see here the average donation was 100 Rand. So 1,000 times 2 by 100. Now we know why the fundraising was 200,000. We don't get to keep all of that. Obviously, we've got expenses. We've got the good work that we're doing. So this business, 75% of that fundraising went out, and 25% was retained as the margin. And they actually ended up with a surplus of 50,000 Rand. Okay, so that's how the model works. These 5 areas in blue, these are the 5 areas that we need to work on and get this right. So what we'll be doing with you in the program is we'll be showing you different strategies on how you can improve each of those 5 areas, not just working on one. And you'll see now how you can get so much more bang for buck by focusing on 5 areas rather than just one. Let's see, there's something wrong with the slide here. I'll fix that separately and send it off to you. But if you remember here, the first step was leads. A 10% improvement. Now imagine just 10% more leads. That's quite doable. If we talk about doubling leads and stuff, that's a big ask, but 10% is definitely doable by implementing some of those strategies. If at the same time we are putting strategies in place to improve our conversion rates, we can do that by just 10%. Look what happens here. Our number of donors improves by 21% because of compounding interest. Those percentages play off on each other. This 2 was average number of transactions or average number of donations. If we can get people to give or tithe just a little bit more often or support us that little bit more, 10% better. And if the average donation could go up by just 10%, look what happens here. Your revenue, your fundraising goes up by 46% because of compounding interest. These little percentages play off each other. And if at the same time we're watching our spending, watching our margins, being clever with how we manage our costs, a 10% improvement in margins, and our surplus grows from 50,000 Rand to 80,000 Rand. So, sorry, there's the legend there. It's kind of bounced out. Obviously, just an animation there. I'll fix that. Isn't that incredible? 10% just those areas gets us 46% more revenue and a 61% improvement in our surplus and profits. Okay, so picture that in your business. Now, in that business, that example we gave you, 46% or 61% grew the surplus by 30,000 Rand. Now, whatever your numbers are, 10% in each area would grow yours by 61%. So in this business is 30,000 Rand, what would that number be in your organization? And imagine what you could do with that. You know, an improved surplus of 61%. What, depending on what your operation does, how many more mouths could you feed? How many more animals could your cause shelter? How many more communities could you impact? If you're in the sporting environment, bear this in mind as well. If you know anybody, if you're watching this and you aren't entering the competition for your cause, but you know anybody in the sporting world, they also qualify for the Coaching for a Cause promotion, anything in athlete development, player development. They are welcome to apply as well. Imagine with more money, with more available funds, what you could do. And importantly, how many lives could you change? We are making more money and getting, as I say, not profitable, but we're growing that surplus that we can start using. And obviously some of the strategies that you can use to improve leads, some of the strategies you can use to improve conversion rates, strategies to get people donating more often, strategies to get people donating more, strategies to improve your margins. all sorts that we can work on. And look what happens here. I showed you what happens if you just do a 10% improvement in each of these areas. Imagine doubling these 5 areas. Now, that's crazy stuff, right? So we've never yet seen somebody double all 5 areas. We've helped people double isolated areas. It's incredible, the power of numbers. And that's why I wanted to share them with you. We're recording our numbers, we're putting strategies in place to try and improve these numbers. And that's my job. And that will be my job as your coach going forward, is to be talking to you regularly. And every time I see you, I'll be asking this question: is what have you done to improve your numbers this week, this month, this quarter? And if the strategies aren't working, then we can fine tune them. Let's try it. Let's try something different. Let's fine tune the way we are doing it so we get the results that you're looking for. It's trial and error, but the first thing is we've got to get those numbers right. There's no one thing that transforms your business overnight. There's no silver bullet that just does it all in one hit. It's lots of little improvements consistently over time. That's where we get crazy results in business. And I think this quote from Warren Buffett just sums it up. You don't need to do anything extraordinary. It's just ordinary stuff repeatedly, consistently over time. So if you come back to our 6-step framework, we only step 2 steps in. I'll quickly just take you through the other steps. I promised I would do this short and sweet. But remember, foundations first, mastery. We want to eliminate the chaos. Marketing, we've got to get niche right to get lots more funds and cash flowing for our organization. Now we want to turn our attention to leverage, to making sure our business works. So leverage is about systems, and for some people, systems are a dirty word. But without systems, how on earth are we going to empower our team to run the business without us if they don't have a system to refer to, a system that manages them, but a system where they've got all the guidelines in one place and they can then start to manage themselves. So systems free up time. And this is the process I'll be taking you through. Clarifying, we spoke about it earlier, the vision statement, the mission statement, the culture or value statement. Let's polish those off and make sure they are published and make sure they're authentic. And remember, I mentioned earlier, do they enroll and do they inspire those key messages? Have we got clear goals that the whole organization is aware of? Have we updated and defined our organization charts? Everybody knows who reports to who and who's responsible for what. Does everybody in your company have a clear position contract or job description so they know what they are responsible for? And has each person in your organization got key performance indicators or KPIs that you can manage them against? So 3 or 4 metrics that at the end of every month they know for themselves, are they delivering the goods or are they not? How-to systems, we need to document our processes and procedures so that you can actually with confidence say to your team when they start working with you, say, I don't care how it was in your other organization, when you are with this organization, when you're wearing our badge or our cap, carrying our business card, this is our way of doing things. We need to document that, okay? And management systems is where do we find all of that? Is it all in a file somewhere? Is it in a Google Drive, a Dropbox folder? There's lovely apps that can do all this kind of stuff for you that your team can refer to the stuff whenever it needs. Okay. Next step now, if we've got the systems right now, we can go to the team and now either, as I mentioned, get more out of the team or start bringing on more team members because we can start growing and scaling because we've got these steps right. So remember, it's a business that works. Now it can become a business that works without you. We've got the systems in place and we hire the right people to run them. Now, you might have heard this quote. Most employees are motivated, energetic, loyal, committed, enthusiastic, and loyal. But going a step further, except for the 8 hours a day they work for you. And I love this quote of Tom Peters because I meet people all the time and they're saying, oh, Trevor, you don't understand. It's so hard to get good people. I say, well, really? I mean, pick any good company. So people say, oh, I don't know, Facebook, LinkedIn, General Motors, Tesla, pick your favorite company, breweries. You say, well, here's a good company, right? Have they got good people? Like, sure. You can't build a good company without good people. So there's definitely good people out there. And the question you need to be asking yourself is, why would good people want to work for you? Because remember, good people want to work for good companies. So are we getting the stuff right first and structuring things well? And when we get it right first, then we'll attract the right people. But that's why we go through these steps first, and then we start attracting the right people. But we've got to do it first. and the framework around that. This is the stuff I'll coach you through. Strong leadership, first and foremost. Common goals. Everybody, like sports teams, if there's a common goal, they galvanize. We find in a lot of businesses and organizations, either there's no goals or the goals aren't being communicated to the team. And without a common goal, then people are going in different directions. Have we documented the rules of the game? Is there a plan that we refer to regularly? Supporting risk-taking is important, letting people play to their personalities, and obviously 100% inclusion. We find there's too many teams with poison apples that are destroying the morale of the team, that we need to either fix or get rid of the people that aren't 100% committed to your cause. All right, and then the key thing as well is getting the right people on the bus. Recruitment is like one of the critical risk areas in your business. Every time you hire badly, just can destroy the business. So my job as your coach will be to make sure that every time you bring somebody on, that person raises the bar rather than lowers the bar of the organization. We coach and teach a system that we call the 4-hour recruitment process. It's a quick and efficient way that business owners and business leaders use to attract great team members. So I'll be showing you more around that. And yeah, you'll love this process where you can with confidence hire fast and efficient, but find the right people that's going to take your organization forward. And yeah, the last 2 steps, synergy and results, that's, as I mentioned, is when the business is working without you. When we've got this stuff right and we profitable, we have a surplus, we've got systems in place, and the right people running the systems, now we can kind of tap off a bit and get somebody to hold it all together for us. A general manager, an ops manager, either hiring a general manager or promoting from within somebody to release you a bit so you can start doing other things or open a new branch or whatever it might be. Okay. And that's what you can see in the six-step framework I've shown you. It's basically a process where we teach you how to build businesses. And once you've done it once and you've learned how, you can do it again and again and again and again. So what I love about our coaching framework, and this is what I do for a living, is I teach people entrepreneurship and help people build multiple businesses. And what we find is the framework that I showed you is you're basically learning using your current business or operation or NPO as the case study. But those skills that you learn, you can use on multiple businesses once you know how. So the first step, though, is understand that a coaching program is self-development first and foremost. Yes, I'm called a business coach, but I coach human beings that happen to be in business. So a lot of the stuff we're going to be working on is around knowledge, around skills, around mindset and things like that, that you can then take those things to your team as well. So I hope this has been useful. As I say, I've gone as fast as possible to try and show you a three-year coaching process. I think I was optimistic as to how long it would take. I was going as quick as I could. Usually we do these over a 2-hour workshop or a 3-hour workshop. So I've cut it down to the bare bones. And so hopefully some ideas that has helped you see in your own operation where you need to focus, and some ideas on where to go and think about that sequence is so important. So if there's some ideas you can go off and implement, please do so. If you really think that you can, this framework will help you do amazing things in your organization, then obviously give me a shout, because you're going to do it a lot better with a coach. And I love this quote of Tiger Woods, you can't do it on your own. Just like top athletes, would they become a top athlete without a coach? Definitely not, right? Most top athletes have multiple coaches. Why is it any different in business? If you want somebody to push you, you're going to get there a lot faster. And that's our job to do it. And here, you can imagine, there's thousands and thousands of case studies of top teams and top athletes that wouldn't have done it on their own. So I'm here for you if you need me. And as I mentioned, we're a global organization. We're coaches around the world and we're coaches across the country. So even if I'm not the right coach for you, reach out anyway, and I can probably hook you up with somebody who is. So we do have the initiative on the go. If you're an established nonprofit up and running and you're doing amazing work, reach out, and Crank will set up a free consult with me. And obviously, we'll then sit down and take you through the process of entering the competition if you're interested in the free coaching. But even if you are a for-profit organization, you can of course engage separately. There's not just about the competition. But you'll see this quote I put up here, which is my favorite. The biggest risk you can take is to do nothing. Don't learn stuff and then do nothing with it. Do something. Reach out into the program, buy a book, find another coach if that's what's on your case, but do something because you're going to do some amazing stuff in your organization. So just a reminder, this is the program that we have running, the Coaching for a Cause. Second week, we're going to be drawing it second week of August. So I'm actually recording this today just to give it a timestamp. Today's the 22nd of July, Friday the 22nd of July. So we basically got two or 3 weeks to get your applications in, and we'll be shortlisting and then doing a draw for the lucky nonprofit that's going to win the free coaching program of 80,000 Rand. So do reach out, don't wait and lose out. And I hope this has been useful and that you've got some ideas that you can use here. I will put the details in below this video. You'll see there'll be a couple of links, and also I'm putting a video as well with some testimonials and case studies of other nonprofits that we have worked with, and you can hear more firsthand from other charities that we've coached over the years, their experience in coaching and the impact that that's made. So I look forward to meeting you, and every luck in entering the competition.